Welcome back, gamers of all variety. I am Rollin, and today we're looking at a brand new game called Galactic Junk League by the Pixel Federation. It's a block-based game, combat game, similar to what you might find in Crossout or in Robocraft. But this one takes place in the throes of space, so a little bit different than the other two, as there is no ground vehicles to be had in this one. You grab all your parts here from the menu if you want to build your own vehicle, but they're also giving you a couple different custom ships to start with. But me being the building fanatic, I went ahead and decided to try to build my own cruiser. And so this is my first attempt here at building anything in Galactic Junk League. Basically finding some of the parts that look like they're important, like energy generators and hull pieces, putting them on and seeing what we get. So this is my initial attempt at adding on a safe area for the core. So if you're familiar with the game Robocraft, in that game, if you lose your pilot seat, you lose your ship. Well, in this game, if you lose your core, you lose your ship. So it's real similar in that way, as you want to protect that one special block. You can do that with special armor cubes. This would be similar to what they would call like electroplates in Robocraft. And then you have your regular hull cubes. Come in all different shapes. You got your prisms, you got your tetras, you got your inners, and they look a little bit more detailed, of course, than what you'll see in a more basic game like Minecraft or anything. Then you got your thrusters. It can be side or rear mounted, and basically you're just going to build a cool spaceship. Pick your type of weapons. There's a lot of different classifications, and then from that type of weapon you have a couple different choices. These big guns on the side here, and then I have little Gatling guns on top, but these are like giant mammoth cannons. Of course, they're called something else, but basically the mega weapon in the game. So I decided to try that. So this is my first attempt here. Let's take this out into practice and just kind of see how this whole thing turned out. They have a really cool graphic system in this game, too. I like it a lot. It kind of reminds me a little bit of a graphic novel. So I don't know if you guys are liking the graphic style, but the levels are a little minimalistic because there's just rocks and asteroids and stuff to hide behind. But you do have some extra little details of like wreckage and pipes and stuff sticking out of some of the asteroids I've noticed. In the practice mode right now, you just basically have NPCs, but they don't really fire back, but it does give you a chance to see how your weapon systems work and see what kind of damage you do. In this game, it's a little bit like an old Robocraft, as you will upgrade your parts too as you go. And I didn't know it at the time I was actually playing this particular part of the game. But everything is upgradable, including your cubes, your guns, and whatnot, and you earn money from combat to put towards... And also you have those cool little effects. But you put money you earn from combat into leveling up your different items that you're going to put into your spaceship. And then the more you play the game, the better your stuff gets and the more powerful you get. Now the game is pretty small right now. It's an early alpha release, and their servers are only in Europe too, as Merrick was telling me, one of the developers from Pixel Federation. He was just saying, keep in mind, the servers are all overseas, so you might get a little lag. I actually did pretty good, though, all the way up until the evening. In the afternoon, really no problems with lag here on my end, and I'm all the way in Texas in the United States, so pretty far away from anything in Europe. And I was still able to play just as well as I think pretty much any other game that I play online. So no complaints there, though at the evening it did get a little choppier. They said they're going to get UF servers eventually, though, so I definitely would not dissuade anybody from checking out Galactic Junk League from that. So anyway, I'm taking this cruiser out in my first actual match here against real players instead of just playing practice. I decided to finally take the plunge and see what we could find out here and see how well we could do against some of these players. I'm not sure how long they've been here. I know some of these players are probably veterans, though, as I've noticed everybody kind of gets mixed together for the time being until they get a bigger player base. They're not really going to divide people out into different levels of skill. So you might be up against someone who's been playing for, several weeks and has lots of levels, or you might be playing with a completely new player like me here in my first game. So, did manage to cut a little piece off that guy, though. There's different classifications of ship, too. So, in this game, when you go in to build a ship, you don't just start grabbing blocks and put it together. First, you pick what kind of class you want to be in. So this one I'm playing is one of the more heavy-duty classes, but there's a battleship class 2, frigate class, kind of like you would find in the Navy. Basically, they have different classes of ships, but spaceship, I guess, works the same way. So you'll have frigates, which are going to be faster, destroyers also faster, and they might do a little more damage than a frigate. So they all have their special abilities. So if you choose, like, I want to build a battleship, you're going to be a little tougher, and you're going to be a little, that hurt. You're also going to be a little bit better as far as your weapon output, but you're going to be slower. And so the options you can choose from to build your ship are going to be limited to just those particular parts, basically. So it does make it a little more interesting as you kind of have like a class system, like in a RPG game, like think of Diablo 3 or Diablo 2 or something, where you choose your class initially and then you just kind of specialize your skills in your tree based off which one you picked initially. So it does kind of make it more interesting. However, if you level up your blocks, for instance, in one line, you also level up and everything else. So it is a little bit different, as all the weapons visually they stay the same, the hitboxes stay the same. They just get a little bit more powerful as you level up. And since everybody's kind of pooled together, you'll go up against some ships sometimes initially that are just super tough and seem like they're almost invulnerable, but it's just because they've leveled up their armor or they've done something, they've been playing for a little bit longer. And I'm sure that's going to probably change down the road when we get more players. They'll probably start classifying all the new players and putting them together in games, and then the ones with more experience will get their own games and stuff. But right now, like I said, the game is an early alpha, and so you have to go to the website, which is galacticjunkleague.com, and sign up for early alpha if you want to try to get into the game. I did, and I've also seen some other players from the Robocraft community over here. I saw Cooley earlier in the day, and I was kind of joking with them that they better watch out because he's going to make a Cooley ball and wreck everybody. So that was kind of fun. And I also saw who was it, Tables and Chum on his channel playing this game. Actually, I didn't actually see him in this game, but I did see it on his channel. So there's a couple definitely Robocraft people rolling around, and I got recognized. A couple people said hi to me as far as people who have also been playing Robocraft, so that's pretty cool. And definitely, if you enjoy that game, you would definitely enjoy this game too, as long as you like spaceships and you don't misland the units immensely. Though I guess you could, like, in some future update, they could put something on these little asteroids around here. Maybe give spaceships legs or something to wander around the asteroids. These rocks, though, do make pretty good places to hide, like this guy's doing right now. You know, kind of keeps you from having to worry about what's above you or below you if you kind of put yourself wedged in a corner or something like that. I did notice, though, when I was close to one for too long, or I started rubbing on it, that eventually it would do damage. So I guess there's that. I'm not sure if it was that or maybe some lag or something if someone was actually hitting me. But if I remember right, I was kind of rubbing up against a rock for a while, and then I started getting a warning sign, and it started doing damage to me. So watch out for that if you play this and do your spaceship. Though I noticed it didn't do it in practice, so it might be different in a regular game versus in practice. So anyway, I do like these big guns I got on the side. I think they're called like Gosling guns or something. And then I have Gatling guns on the top and bottom. But they're one of the longest range weapons I saw, and they're pretty powerful too. So I'm actually able to stay back a little bit and put up a pretty good fight against these guys. I think it went 624. That's not a bad shot at all. Another 624. So I'm doing pretty good for a noob. That guy's probably a new player too. But he's moving up pretty good. That's good. He's moving. Okay, I got him though. Nice. So at least I got a kill here in my first game. But man, he ripped the front of my ship right off for sure. Another interesting thing in this too is the CPU limit is different for each of the different classes you choose. So if you're playing a frigate or you're playing a destroyer that's a smaller ship, your CPU will be lower too. And I think the highest I saw was 1324, which is like the cruisers, and I think that's what I am right here, is a 1324 ship. And I just got totally ripped in. Got ripped in half by that guy. But you'll see a lot of those little guys with super strong lasers flying around. I've noticed trends in this game too. A lot of people really like playing the lighter weight ships that move a little bit faster, and then having those laser guns or something that can really fire and then get out of the way real quick. This seems to be the popular trend right now in Galactic Junk League. There's some things I would say that aren't perfect, but you know, it's early alpha game and they're still working on it. You know, there was some times too that some of the players and stuff would just kind of beat up on the new guys by spawn camping or something like that. But you know, it's kind of be to expected with such a small pool of people. So here's some of those cool things that I was talking about too. I have like these rustic pipes here on the asteroid. I think that's super cool as far as the detail goes. And let's see if we can get this guy. Man, that guy is hauling. Wow. He's really fast. Let's see if I can knock him out there. I think I'm just barely out of range with these Gatling guns, but yet I still try. Did he die? Oh, I think he's probably self-destructing. Yeah. His little box isn't there anymore, so either someone got him or one of my bullets hit him, even though they said it was out of range. So when it's dark red like that on the enemy's name, and you can see a couple off in the distance, like Roger, if you look in the middle of the screen where I got my crosshair, and then, what is that, Forma, something like that? Anyway, see how her name went white and red on the outside? So that means you're in range of an enemy, and when it's solid red, that means they're out of range for whatever weapon you have currently selected. Now you can have different weapons on your vehicle. I've only seen like 3 different classifications or 3 different kinds of weapons in any one weapon classification that you choose. So you, I guess theoretically, could have 3 different kinds of weapon on your vehicle. You usually have a really fast rate weapon that has a shorter range, and then medium range, and then they'll have a real strong weapon that goes far. That's super slow as far as the shots go. So of course I went for the faster and then the more powerful, so kind of both spectrums, the real powerful and the one that will get someone murdered when they get up in your face. Let's see if I can hit this guy. I'm trying to see if you have to lead your shots, and I think you do in this game. It's not hit scan because you actually see the projectiles going, and they're not really very quick either. There's that same guy with the lasers again. Roger. Let's see if we can get Roger once. Hacked. I've been hacked. That's funny they call it hacking in this game. I just realized how funny that comment is earlier by Karos or whatever. Karos Hunt. So I'm getting hacked. What the hell? He thought he was really getting hacked. Alright, I just lost the front of my ship for sure. Oh good, we got a buddy coming in to help toast this guy up. Hopefully his guns are stronger than mine. But we're still doing okay. Ouch, it's Roger. That bastard and his lasers. Alright, let's try to get back into this. One of the things about this ship is it's not very fast. This is, you know, one of the bigger ships. It is a little bit faster than the battleships, but only like 122, whatever it is, miles an hour. Or I'm not sure what they're classifying. 122 somethings. But it's a lot slower because some of the other ships I played out with later got up to like 250 and stuff like that when they're just flying around. So the build does matter, and then also when you power up your engines, you'll start going faster too. So that would be nice if you like playing bigger battleship style of vehicles. And looks like we pulled that out. I kind of helped a little bit in my first game. Got 2 kills, 3 deaths, and 1 assist. And believe it or not, I'm not too upset about that, at least in hindsight, as I just totally get wrecked in some other games too against people who've been playing this a whole lot longer than I have. Now after the game you will get some junk, which you can use to level up your weapons, and I actually didn't know it at this time, but that's what the currency's for. I was trying to figure it out. I figured, you know, what's going on, because there's not really anything to buy when you get your account, at least on my account. I wasn't sure if it was unlocked, all the parts, or if all the parts are all unlocked for everybody, and then you can just level them up. And I think it's the later of the two. I think you will have all the parts unlocked, but then you just level them up. So another cool little thing. I like that little unstoppable thing. It reminds me of playing like Unreal Tournament. Anyway, I tried this other little frigate out that I saw with part of my pre-made vehicles, and I just improved it a little bit by downgrading some of the armor and upping some of the power so I could really put out a lot of damage. It's really light, but the downside is it has very few hit points. It is a lot faster though. As you can see here, when I turn on the hyperdrive, I'm up almost to 500 miles an hour. And it's nice. I'm a little out of range here for the missiles, but at this point in the game, I still kind of get my bearings and figuring out what's what. And so I don't think I'd actually figured out at this point that red means that they're too far out of distance to actually hit, and when they go white and red, then that means they're in range. So here we go. So I come down on this guy. You'll see I'll hit him a bunch with my little Hellfire missiles, but it doesn't really do a lot to him, even though you see a lot of numbers pumping up. I think he's just upgraded his armor enough where it was a problem. And then plus the guys are playing smart. They're all sticking together. And we got the Borg Cube guy here, Mario. He was tough. I played a couple games against Mario, and that ship was pretty much a super tank. It's probably definitely a battleship, as their armor upgrades are pretty insane. Anyway, so I did enjoy the game a lot, though, and just having the full 3D range of competition too, and these obstacles in the middle makes it a little bit more dynamic than some other games too. There's more places to hide and more strategy and stuff to use too. So, but as you can see here, my little attempt at taking these guys down, valiant as it may be, was pretty unsuccessful, as these guys definitely have higher levels of equipment than I do right now at my ships. So later I decided to go ahead and try the pre-made battleship. I upgraded it a little bit again, putting on a little bit more power and stuff for the missile output, so I could get a couple more off per round. I wanted to just kind of see how the missiles were. And this ship actually comes with two different types. It has the real powerful long-range missiles and the short Hellfire missiles too. Kind of like the frigate I played, but I figured having the longer range would probably help out. So here I am in practice mode, just making sure that the damage on this thing was going to be okay to take into a real game. So I did take it back in. I met my amigo Mario with his Borg Cube again and his super devastating lasers. And he totally wrecked me a bunch of times. And pretty much everybody else for that matter. If you level your lasers up and your armor up enough on one of these high-level battleships, eventually you're just going to wreck people. So I was proud of this one moment. That's why I put this on video. I actually did get a kill on him eventually. These little spike things you see up right now are one of the abilities you can install on your ships that take the damage the enemy does to you and puts it back on them. So it's kind of a shielding system. That second ability on number 2 down below is going to be making me go a little bit faster, like a warp. The third one is number 3 is going to be an energy boost, so I can fire my missiles again. And then 4 also is a different kind of energy boost. Basically 3 is an instant energy boost, and 4, when you press that, is an energy boost over time. Anyway, so we got slaughtered. I did get that one kill against Mario, though, so I was super happy about that. And Exter got one on the other player, but they totally dominated us with their better ships. So it doesn't really matter what class of ship you want to play, I say. The bigger, heavier ones, you might die a little less, though the enemies can definitely catch you and camp you a lot easier. But you're going to die a lot in the starting of this game, most likely. So I went with a brand new build. This is actually one of mine. I just put together something, kind of reminded me something out of Star Wars, actually. Like one of those battle fighters. Put all the important stuff in the back section, and the front section put all the big guns, and put one of the warp drive generators too. When you press 2, that's what that is. It makes you jump again. Then again, I put that defensive ability on number 1 that throws the enemy's damage back at them if they shoot you while you have that on. That's what this guy's doing right now, and I made the mistake of shooting him a couple times. You see it blew my face right off. And then the number 3 on this is a special kind of shield that just basically makes the enemies do less damage to you when you have it up. So it's kind of neat. Each of the different classes has their own unique abilities too that you can install on your ship or not. You know, there's different CPU, and then there's one called AU or something. And the AU or the A ability basically is what you have basically for special weapons or special abilities. And then when you use that up, even if you have more CPU, you can't put more on unless you're a class of ship that has more of those special abilities. Anyway, there's really a lot to like in this game, a lot to learn in this game, and I'll probably be playing more of it for you guys here on the channel. But right now I want to ask you guys to thumbs up this video if you're a regular, and if you're brand new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I do videos just like this all the time on this channel, things like Crossout Robocraft, Galactic Junk League, Astrolid, etc., etc. Basically, if you can build and fight, I'm probably going to like playing it. Anyway, so yeah, I had a lot of fun in this game. I think you guys will too. It's been a pretty positive experience. Another thing I noticed too is the community seems really friendly and really willing to help. I also had the pleasure to speak to a couple of the game developers by email, and they seem like pretty great people too. So very cool so far. Super impressed and like what I'm seeing from this game. And it's definitely something a little bit different and refreshing from playing some of the other ground-based space simulators and stuff like that, or 2D. I guess most of the space ones I've played before are all 2D simulators, like Astrolid and Reassembly, which are real similar to each other. So this is kind of a combination of like Astrolid and then mixing it with Robocraft, but a little bit different as there's class systems. So if you put like an RPG in the mix too, then you have kind of what this game is. So I wonder if this Tizzy Gaming guy is also a YouTuber. You guys might have to let me know down below if you've seen him in some of the other stuff. So anyway, after you have got your cash, you can go in and upgrade some of your parts. I went ahead and chose the blocks. So now anytime I want to play another robot, the blocks will be a little bit better. Instead of 60 hit points, they all have now 66. So here's another creation I made, the box with stuff in it, and of course as many laser guns as I could pile on top. I saw a popular strategy other people were using where they try to get down below the enemy and then fire up. So it's kind of a race to the bottom, and that's what everybody here is doing on this particular scene. But I got them stuck on a rock and was able to pound my lasers through their hole. And so I came out victorious in this one, which is very cool. But most of the time, like I said, I was getting owned, as these guys have better equipment than I do. Definitely leveled up their vehicles a lot more, too. But it was super fun. And there's a lot of tactical stuff, like a lot of strategy you'll use in this game, too. When to pop your special abilities to warp, or to outmaneuver your opponent by having a better gyroscope. Those are all things that you can choose to do. So it's a little bit of a tactical game, a little bit of a first-person shooter. I could definitely see team play elements being really important in this, coordinating who's supporting who's behind a rock. It's not really like any healers or anything I've seen, but having the different classifications of ship and different abilities and stuff like that just kind of give it a fresh feel from games where you can kind of choose to be anything you can slap a gun on. So very interesting for sure. So anyway, I finally killed that guy. He was giving me a lot of trouble too earlier in the game with my little laser guy, so I have to kind of get lucky and be in the right position to finish him off. You can self-destruct in this game too, and that's also a good way to deny the enemy points or frags. And so if you get your half your ship ripped off, there's no instant healing or place you can go to get regenerated. You basically have to make the tactical move to pull the trigger and self-destruct before somebody finishes you off from the other team. Anyway, I really enjoyed playing Galactic Junk League. I played it a lot longer today than I probably should have. Should have been working on more videos. But give it 2 thumbs up and highly recommend it. But that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later!